Most people think they know what a grieving mother looks like. Tears, panic, confusion. But sometimes, the most dangerous people are the ones who seem calm and collected. This story starts with a heartbreaking accident that slowly unraveled into something much darker. It's a story of death, deception, money, and a woman whose pattern of loss raised questions no one wanted to ask. In 1993, in Montebello, California, a 13-month-old baby girl was found unresponsive at home. Her mother, Angelina Rodriguez, told authorities the child had choked on a pacifier. Paramedics rushed to the scene, but it was too late. The baby was gone. At the time, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Infant deaths happen, and choking accidents are a tragic reality. Angelina appeared distraught but controlled. Friends and family offered their sympathies. The child's death was officially ruled an accident. The case was closed, and life moved on. But years later, investigators would look back at this moment and realize it was just the first chapter. After her child's death, Angelina seemed to rebuild her life. She remarried a man named Jose Francisco Rodriguez, but everyone called him Frank. To outsiders, their marriage seemed normal, but behind closed doors, a sinister plan was forming. Angelina took out a large life insurance policy on Frank, then another, and another. Soon, the total coverage reached hundreds of thousands of dollars. While insuring a spouse isn't unusual, the speed and aggression with which she managed these policies would later catch investigators' attention. Not long after, Frank started getting sick. It began with vague symptoms: stomach pain, weakness, confusion. Doctors were stumped. He was hospitalized multiple times, recovering slightly each time, only to fall ill again once he returned home. Throughout it all, Angelina was the image of a devoted wife. She stayed by his side, appearing concerned and supportive. Hospital staff even described her as attentive. No one suspected a thing. But Frank's health continued to decline. His organs began to fail. Doctors were baffled. Then, Frank died, and Angelina collected the insurance money. What should have been the end of the story was only the beginning. Medical professionals couldn't let go of why a healthy man had deteriorated so quickly. They revisited toxicology reports and ordered new tests. The results were shocking. Frank had been poisoned. Investigators found traces of antifreeze and oleander, a highly toxic plant, in his system. These things don't just accidentally end up in someone's body. Someone had deliberately administered them. The focus immediately shifted to Angelina. Detectives started piecing together the timeline of Frank's illness. They discovered his symptoms always got worse after meals or drinks prepared by Angelina. They found she had researched poisons and their effects. Witnesses came forward with disturbing observations about her behavior. Doctors recalled moments that, in hindsight, were deeply suspicious. Angelina was arrested and charged with murder. During the trial, the prosecution painted a chilling picture. They argued that Angelina had slowly poisoned her husband over a long period, making multiple attempts on his life before finally succeeding. The motive? Greed. The life insurance payouts that would solve all her financial problems. But then, prosecutors introduced something even more disturbing. They reopened the case of her infant daughter's death from years earlier. The jury learned about the baby who supposedly choked on a pacifier. They learned about the insurance policy Angelina had taken out on her daughter shortly before she died. And they learned about the money she received after the baby's death. The similarities between the two deaths were impossible to ignore. Although Angelina was never formally charged in her daughter's death, prosecutors used it to establish a pattern, a horrifying pattern of using death as a financial solution. Angelina denied everything. She claimed she was being framed, that she loved her family, and that the deaths were just tragic coincidences. The jury didn't believe her. She was convicted of first-degree murder with special circumstances and was initially sentenced to death. Years later, her sentence was reduced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Today, Angelina Rodriguez remains behind bars. Her case is a disturbing example of betrayal hidden behind a mask of normalcy. A mother, a wife, A caregiver, someone trusted with the lives of the most vulnerable people in her life. The most unsettling part is how long it took for the truth to come out, how easily grief can hide suspicion, and how convincing someone can be when they know exactly what society expects to see. This case reminds us that not every tragedy is an accident, and not every villain looks like one. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. True crime stories like this are difficult, but they matter. They force us to question our assumptions and recognize the warning signs. If you found this video informative, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth true crime stories.